For centuries, the Euphrates River has been a lifeline for millions of people, providing water and sustenance to the regions it flows through. But in a stunning turn of events, the river has finally dried up, revealing something that will change everything we thought we knew about history. The drying up of the Euphrates River had revealed a mystery that would captivate the world for years to come. It was a reminder that there is still so much we don't know about our own history, and that the most incredible discoveries can be found in the most unexpected places. Let's find out what has been hidden from us for this long. In the realm of water, there is a connection between all things. Any change in one location will undoubtedly have an effect on both the upstream and the downstream areas. Not only does the state of the Euphrates River have an effect on Syria and the other nations that it passes through, but it also has an effect on the peace and security of the surrounding area. Over the past few decades, the water levels of major rivers all over the world, such as the Yangtze River in China, the Colorado River in the US, and the Rhine in Germany, have been steadily declining. The globe must readjust to the new reality, which is characterized by the unpredictability of natural occurrences and the availability of water. As a problem that affects the entire world, a lack of available water should motivate governments to work together, establish systems of support and mitigation, and devise novel solutions that will assist people who are struggling to meet the challenge. The effects of climate change could lead to the Euphrates River becoming completely dry. When compared to 100 years ago, temperatures in northeastern Syria have increased by 1 degree Celsius, but the region's average rainfall has declined by 18 millimeters per month during the same period. The Ministry of Water Resources in Iraq has issued a warning that the river may run dry by 2040. It is possible that the actions of humans have contributed to the devastation of the Euphrates River, which is considered to be the cradle of civilization. As a result, people may be forced to abandon a location that they have called home for thousands of years. The Euphrates River is the largest and one of the oldest rivers in Western Asia. It is also one of the longest rivers in Western Asia. The Euphrates River provides an important source of fresh water for Syria. On the other hand, climate change is leaving its mark on the Euphrates, in addition to exacerbating the fragility and tensions in Syria's ongoing civil war. Because of the drought, rainfall in the river basin has considerably dropped, which has resulted in water levels in the Euphrates River falling to levels that are historically low. As a result, local residents are at risk of disease and may be forced to relocate. Is it possible to turn this situation around? Throughout the course of history, the Euphrates has been responsible for satisfying 85% of Syria's agricultural requirement for water. People draw drinking water from the river, as well as cultivate agricultural land and raise livestock along its banks. The strong connection that exists between the Syrian people and the river is helped to be made manifest by the performing of religious rites and the imbuing of the waterway with spiritual characteristics. Now, low water levels have combined with poor water quality to generate various crises, including starvation and an outbreak of cholera that has been ongoing since September 2022. These crises have been caused by a combination of factors, including poor water quality and low water levels. The effects of climate change. During dry years, the flow of water in the Euphrates and Tigris River systems has dropped to approximately half of what it used to be on average each year. This decline occurred over a course of the past few decades. At this time, the water level in the Euphrates is at one of the lowest places that have ever been recorded in its entire history. Together, these two factors, a decrease in the amount of water that is available and an increase in the human population, have contributed to an increased degree of water insecurity in countries further downstream, such as Syria. The droughts in Syria have had the greatest impact on the country's farmers and herders, putting them in a vulnerable situation and putting many of the country's rural communities at risk of being displaced. Since the beginning of the conflict in 2011, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations reports that Syria's wheat harvest has decreased by 75%. Now, after more than a decade of strife caused by the Syrian civil war, many farmers are striving to adjust to new realities imposed by the shifting environment, while also dealing with poor economic and security situations. The folks who will be most negatively impacted by these shifts are those who rely largely on the Euphrates for their survival. Particularly, water concerns are having an effect on the agriculture sector in Syria. Farmers in northeastern Syria are losing their harvests as a result of contaminated water and a lack of irrigation because of these water issues. As Catherine Bliss, Director of Immunizations and Health Systems Resilience at CSIS's Global Health Policy Center explains, one of the challenges that we've seen with respect to recurrent drought is that people are finding it necessary to either travel further to find their water or to seek water from sources that have turned out to be contaminated. This is one of the difficulties that has been seen in relation to recurrent drought. Lost city. After a significant drought in the region, a city that was thought to have been lost for 3,400 years suddenly reappeared from the Tigris River in Iraq. This prompted archaeologists to rush to study the site before it vanished once more. The ancient city was discovered by a multinational team of archaeologists working in the Kurdistan region of Iraq. A severe drought in the region forced the water levels in the Mosul Reservoir to drop early this year, which allowed a settlement from the Bronze Age to emerge from the reservoir. According to a story from the New York Post, it is thought that the city was built at some point between the years 1475 BC and 1275 BC, during the time that the Mitanni Empire dominated over the northern Euphrates Tigris region. The German and Kurdish archaeologists working together were able to get to the Mosul Reservoir swiftly, where they made the exciting discovery of 100 antique clay tablets. Additional research uncovered a mud-bricked wall village that contained a palace, multiple buildings with multiple stories, various towers, and enormous structures. The University of Freiburg has released a statement claiming that the city dates back to the time of the Mitanni Empire, which was during the Bronze Age. It's possible that it was supposed to symbolize the ancient city of Zakiku. An earthquake that occurred in approximately 1350 BC almost completely leveled Zakiku. According to the university, the extensive city with a palace and several large buildings could be ancient Zakiku. Zakiku was thought to have been an important location in the Mitanni Empire. According to Dr. Ivana Pugliese of the University of Freiburg, the enormous magazine building is of particular importance because enormous quantities of goods must have been stored in it, probably brought from all over the region. According to the reports, archaeologists have never conducted a comprehensive investigation of the site in the past. According to further information provided by the university, this good preservation is due to the fact that the city was destroyed in an earthquake around 1350 BC, during which the collapsing upper parts of the walls buried the buildings. Mysterious tunnel. The prophecy on the drying up of the land has not only been fulfilled in our modern times, but it is also found in the Bible. Along with its drying up, many ancient discoveries have emerged that have horrified people all across the world. A man can be seen in a recent video demonstrating a significant decline in the amount of water in the Euphrates River. Only in the most recent few years has the water in the river begun to nearly totally evaporate. In addition, the man demonstrated an ancient tunnel that leads to the underworld and has a very excellent building structure. This tunnel also has stairs that are neatly arranged and are still in their original state to this day. Who is responsible for building all of this? Some people believe that this is a relic from ancient times that has been maintained until modern times. On the other hand, there is a widespread belief among the natives that the tunnel goes to a place where angels are held captive, according to what is written in the Bible, more specifically Revelation 9:13-19. Then the sixth angel blew his trumpet, and I heard a voice coming from the four horns of the golden altar that was in front of God. It said to the sixth angel who had the trumpet, "Release the four angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates." Therefore, the four angels that were ready for the hour, the day, the month, and the year were let loose to slaughter a third of the human race. I heard that the number of mounted troops was twice 10,000 times 10,000, and I know this because I saw it. And this is how I saw the horses and those who rode them in my vision. They wore breastplates the color of fire and sapphire and of sulfur, and the heads of the horses were like the heads of lions, and fire, smoke, and sulfur streamed out of their mouths. Those who rode the horses also wore breastplates the color of fire and of sulfur and sapphire. 1/3 of humanity was wiped out as a direct result of these three plagues, which were characterized by the emission of fire, smoke, and sulfur from their lips. Because the horses' power lies not just in their jaws, but also in their tails, which are shaped like serpents with heads and are used to inflict wounds. According to Revelation 16:12-16, the sixth angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up, in order to prepare the way for kings who came from the east. And I saw three impure spirits that looked like frogs emerging from the mouths of the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. All three of these mouths belong to the dragon. Because they are evil spirits, they are able to perform signs, and they travel to the monarchs of every nation in order to gather their armies for the great war that will take place on the day when God reveals his full might. And they gathered all of them together at the region that is known as Armageddon in Hebrew. I have high hopes that these solid structures, which display outstanding craftsmanship, will be investigated in great depth, thereby illuminating for us additional historical information and knowledge that was previously unknown. Is it conceivable that there are yet more discoveries waiting to be made in the oceans and rivers of other parts of the world? According to the information that I was able to locate about this tunnel on Wikipedia, it is referred to as the fabled Euphrates Tunnel. According to the tale, the Euphrates Tunnel was constructed between 2180 and 2160 BCE beneath the Euphrates River in order to connect the two sides of the city of Babylon in Mesopotamia. The existence of the Euphrates Tunnel has not been confirmed, according to Wikipedia's statement. It seems as though the confirmation is at hand now. In 50 BCE, Diodorus wrote in the Bibliotheca Historica that the tunnel was constructed by Queen Semiramis and that she used it to travel from one palace to another. The passage is described as follows: "After all these in low ground in Babylon, she sunk a place for a pond, 4 square, with each square being 300 furlongs in length, lined with brick and cemented with brimstone, and the whole 5. Alongside and above the arches, the walls of this vault measured 20 bricks in thickness, and they reached a height of 12 feet. The width of the vault measured 15 feet. Once this piece of work had been completed after 260 days, the river was diverted back to its original course. This allowed Semiramis to travel from one palace to the other without having to cross the river on her way. The river had been diverted back to its original channel once the work had been completed. She also constructed 2 gates fashioned of brazen, one at either end of the vault. These gates were in use up until the time of the Persian Empire." In the life of Apollonius of Tyana, which was written by Philostratus, who lived around 250 CE, he describes the construction of the tunnel as Babylon being cut asunder by the river Euphrates into halves of similar shape, and there passes underneath the river an extraordinary bridge which joins together by an unseen passage the palaces on either bank. Philostratus died in 250 CE. However, he does state that Queen Medea was the one who requested that it be built in the first place. That's all for the video today. We will be right back with more such videos. Don't forget to shower your love on this video via liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Thanks for watching.